Welcome to the Arsenal Show. We are live and it's the post-match reaction of Arsenal's 3-0 victory against Brentford. Away from home, at the ground where they've taken points off of Manchester United. Who else they're taking points off? I think they've got two or three or 4-0 wins. They've had comebacks galore. They've got Ivan Toney now in the England squad, spearheading their attack. Where was he today? Where is he now? He's in the pocket of Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba. Nowhere to be seen. Missing. They've sent out a search and rescue for Ivan Toney. Not there at all today. Arsenal absolutely won a pomp. Granit Xhaka, unbelievable today. Gabriel Jesus, excellent today. Bukayo Saka, brilliant. Brilliant Bukayo with his 2 assists as well. I'm so glad he got, even though that assist, it was just a pass to Fabio Vieira. It was just a pass to Fabio Vieira. But I'm so glad it's an assist because his performance deserved some sort of stats on top of how he played today because he was relentless with their defence. Fabio Vieira coming in with a goal. It had everything today. And now I'm gonna introduce Steve. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, Kieran? I'm very well, thank you. What a performance. What a performance! I don't think we can sort of, harp on as much, how good this performance was today. There wasn't a bad player on the pitch, and look, this was Brentford, right? This is the team that hasn't been beat at home by this amount of goals for 14 years, right? This is the team that comes into the Premiership where big teams go there and get their asses spanked, right? We went there last year. COVID hit, right? COVID hit with about 3 first-teamers, right? And people seem to get out. That's history now. We played them with our first team. We played them off the park, like we've played everybody off the park since the start of the season. Absolutely incredible performance. That's how you beat Brentford. That's how you beat Brentford. That's how you put Ivan Toney in your pocket. Fantastic performance from the boys today.
Yeah, no, it was an excellent performance. Like you said, from every person on the pitch played their part. They played with so much confidence today. Towards the end, I saw people doing flicks, tricks, spins all over the place. And to bring on a 15-year-old, I mean, like, it just shows where Arsenal are at the moment. It shows the strength in depth they've got in the academy. Like, I'd not even heard of this kid. I've not even heard of him. I'm waxing lyrical about the likes of Marcelo Flores, who's out on loan in Spain at the moment, where Arsenal fans left, right and centre are talking about Charlie Bettina, and then we're bringing in a 15-year-old against a Premier League side like Brentford who have started really well this season. Let's see what we've got in the comment section. Johnny, what a solid performance. Great response after United result. Yep, Stephen, good to see you, Stephen. All right, let's get to the player ratings. What I was impressed with today as well, with a few injuries with the likes of Zinchenko. Who else was out? Who else was out? I can't remember who else was out. But yeah, Zinchenko out. I thought Kieran Tierney came in and had a solid performance. I think it's his best performance so far this season. Yeah. He was up and down. He looked a lot more like his old self, Kieran Tierney, today. We'll get onto that in the player ratings.
Yeah.
So first of all, Ramsdale in goal. What's your thoughts on him today?
Yeah, I mean, look, let's face it. You've already said our defence was excellent today. Ramsdale didn't have much to do. As I said, we owned that pitch today. I don't know how much possession we had, but Brentford certainly didn't have a lot. But what Ramsdale did, he did well. He didn't make no mistakes. He made a couple of saves that he should have saved, and overall he had a good game. So yeah, I'm not going to go on this situation where sometimes people mark players that because they was quiet, they give them low marks. No, he had a good game. He did. When you're having people who are quiet, sometimes you've got to be at your most, cleverest, and sharpest when something does occur. So I'm going to give Ramsdale a 7 today.
All right, Ramsdale gets a 7 from Steve.
Johnny's getting them in early.
Yeah, I know. That's thing. Johnny was on last week when I was doing the thingy, keeping me company there. And I said, get your result, get your ratings in before I do. Otherwise, I'm going to start calling you out for copying. He knows I'm only joking. Kieran Tierney.
Well, you've already said. I mean, I don't know how you looked at his performance today and what areas he was good at. But again, like the last couple of seasons, I like a defender to defend. And I think Kieran Tierney's becoming what I wanted him to be. And that was to improve as a defender and not so much this bombing forward and rely on him getting forward, getting crosses in. But today, it was his best game so far. I thought defensively, he was fantastic. He was sound. He was winning tackles. He wasn't getting caught out of position. There was so much right about Kieran Tierney today. And I know you've already said that you say this was his best game so far this season. I totally agree with you. I'd also go as far as it's one of the best defensive performances I've seen Kieran Tierney play since he's came to the club. Because there was not a mistake in his book. A lot of Arsenal fans just look at Kieran Tierney as the flying, going forward, all-action player. He's becoming a proper left-back defender now who can get forward when he wants to. So that was great for me today. He's a very high 7 for me, a very high 7. But I'd be interested to see what you think, Kears. But I definitely a 7. Definitely a 7.
No, I was impressed with Kieran Tierney today. I thought he was up and down, but yeah, like you said, he was solid. He looks more assured, he looked more confident, and I think that's just going to come with game time. I think we've seen. I know people were clambering for Tomiyasu to come back into the team, but we've got to remember with Tomiyasu, who was out for most of the second half of the season last season, came back in, got injured again, so missed the pre-season, and then he's got to get his way back in. Kieran Tierney's not far off the same, where he was out for most of the second half of the season, missed a whole pre-season, came back in towards the end of the pre-season, and it's gonna and didn't go back straight into the team where he has done previously. It's gonna take him a few games of full 90 minutes to really get back in his stride, and I thought he'd done that today. Especially with the pressure he's got with Zinchenko there over his shoulder. He was dropped for the last game against Manchester United. Zinchenko's brought in, but he's giving the manager an option. He's giving the manager something to think about. Are you going to go with the more expansive style of play with Zinchenko drops in the middle and creates more positions in that centre? Or do you go with someone more who's defensively more solid than Zinchenko and a more a completely different type of player? You're still going to get that attacking side when Kieran Tierney's on his game, but you're also going to get a solid defensive side as well when he's on form. So
I think what he's doing
done really well today.
I think what he's doing at the start of this, I don't know what people in the comments, and people watching think, but I think at the start of the season, we was all saying, or a couple of us were saying, maybe all of us, that we felt that it was Zinchenko and it was his position and it was sort of spot on, and it was just guaranteed that he was the new left back. If Tierney keeps playing like this, if he plays like this every week, then he's giving what every Arsenal fan wants. He's giving Mikel Arteta an headache. And he will give Mikel Arteta that headache now if he continues on this, again, that word I keep using, conveyor belt, because I can't think of any other word. I always try and use another word, but it can never come to my head. But if he can keep going... Trajectory, that's better. Yeah, that's much better than conveyor belt. Much better. But then he's giving Mikel Arteta that headache. Yeah. And that's what we want, and that's what I wanted at the beginning of the season. I don't want to have to say, it's Zinchenko this week. I want to be able to think, I wonder what's he going to do this week. Is he going to play Tierney? Is he going to play Zinchenko? Over the moon for him today. Over the moon for him. Brilliant. Yeah,
no, definitely. Gabriel Magalhaes.
Yeah. I hope he wasn't playing through an injury through that whole game, because he looked a bit. He was holding his calf at the. Or his knee at the beginning of the game, and he a couple of times during the game he was pulling up, but he got through it. And look, I thought he was absolutely excellent. Again, what did Ivan Toney do? He did absolutely nothing. The guy's got into the England squad this week because of what he's been doing, for the season, up to now since he started, and rightly so, because he's been absolutely fantastic. But as you've already said, to come in and have him in his pocket, which is what Gabriel did. It was brilliant. I just hope he's okay. I hope he hasn't played through an injury. But yeah, really good performance from Gabriel, and I give him a 7.
Yeah, I do worry about that sometimes with this squad because it's so competitive. No one wants to lose their spot. I do worry that there are players that will play on injuries because they're worried that they won't get back into the team. When you look at Gabriel, he's got Saliba, who's just been unbelievable this season. You've got Ben White, who's been definitely, I'd say, an unsung hero this season so far. And if he was to come out of the team, Ben White would come in his position. And how do you get back in? Because you're not playing right back. So is that on the back of his mind? I hope not. I do hope not. Before we do go on, please press that like and subscribe if you are new to the show. If you are a regular, you best be pressing that like. Thank you. Appreciate your support. All right. I know you've pressed the like, Johnny, and Stephen. I know you shared it. Absolute legend. He said he shared it 50 times the other day. Love
50 that. 50 times.
Wow. 50 times. I'm sure it weren't 50, but I get it. I get it. All right. Next up, who we got on the list? Who we got? Everyone who's watching now, come and jump into the comment section. Let me know your player ratings as well, so we can read them out. Who else was next? It was Saliba.
He's just incredible today. He's just majestic, isn't he? I mean, at the back there, he's just so calm on the ball. I mean, he does you wouldn't be normal if you wouldn't get nervous at times when he sort of decides just to turn and twist and do Cruyff turns, on the 12-yard box and 18-yard box away, but he gets his way out of it. He's so calm, collective. He's strong. Again, he was strong in the tackle. We have to mention his name again. As far as Ivan Toney having a quiet game, he was excellent. He's passing through from the centre backs through to the midfield is fantastic. And Gabriel's is the same, to be honest with you. And obviously he's got up there for that header. I mean, there was no one getting that ball apart from him. He was just, get out of the way. Beautiful little glance. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew the only way he could put that in the back of the net was to, get it onto the side of his head, and he did that. Excellent. I think just due because he got the goal, he was just as good as his defence as Gabriel. They was the same, but he got his goal. So for me, I'm giving Saliba an 8.
All right, Saliba gets an 8 from Steve. And Johnny gives him a 7.
I think because this was Brentford at home as well. We know how dangerous Brentford are at home with Marimba, with Ivan Toney. I mean, we just stopped them. I mean, they would stop. I was expecting, a much harder game from them today, but our defenders were just incredible. Saliba's so composed. Van Dijk, Rio Ferdinand in the making. Look, you can say I'm going over the top. Now, this kid is absolute class. He's shown in every single game this season that he can handle it in the Premier League. He had a bit of trouble against Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa, but that's a learning curve for the player. That's a learning curve for the player. And if you're going to play in England, you've got to learn to deal with those sort of lumps. So we'll see how he deals with that. Going on, but if you're gonna have a challenge that's anything like Ollie Watkins, it's Ivan Toney, and he was quiet today. There was one time when the ball got passed back into defence. Saliba's then turned on it, and then Partey and I can't remember who it was. I think it was Ben White and someone else. I think maybe Tierney passed it around out of the area, but it was too much. It was like, don't force it. So don't get into that situation. Guys, where you're forcing it out of there. Sometimes it is okay to just lump it over. Because if they're pressing, send it over, beat the press there. You don't always have to pass it out and force it. But once again, excellent performance. And to cap it off with a goal, I love it. I'm loving it. Benjamin White, as I said earlier, this kid gets pelted, and I don't know why.
People in the comment section, people watching now, tell me why people are out there giving Ben White pelters. Yes, sometimes he goes to ground. Yes, he puts in he sometimes misplaces the pass because he's trained. He's trained to make things happen. But tell me why this kid gets so many pelters. Again, another solid performance at right back today, Steve.
Absolutely, yeah, excellent performance at right back today. He's making it his own. He's making it his own, and it's good for him because he's got himself 2 positions. I mean, even when Gabriel went down injured, and today I was thinking, well, Ben White's just got to slip in at centre back, and it was, as I said, he's got so many different things to his bow now. But Ben White today, very similar to Kieran Tierney for me today. Very, very similar game. Wasn't caught out of position. Don't get us forward as much, but it seems that Arsenal are going that way now. That they seem to be, relying on our left backs to be more defenders and going forward, and just getting forward when they can. I think that's why we're looking so good at the back, and why the partnerships are looking so good. But Ben White, fantastic. You're right. Sometimes he does try things and they don't come off, but. As you said, like we've said with some of our other players, we like that. We like seeing players try different things, and he looks so confident on the ball. And again, like in other games, when he's been up against other players on the wing, it's very rarely that they get change out of him. Even in the Man United game, I mean, what was Sancho? What was he? He wasn't in the game, was he? He didn't do nothing. He wasn't even in the game. Nothing. Sahan, nothing. Today, Muamba, nothing.
So that's a hard performance where he played against Crystal Palace. We're talking about one of the best wingers, attacking players, dribblers. I'd probably say in Europe with Zaha. Zaha is an excellent player, very, very good player. And he didn't get much change out of Ben White at all. Yet people were still managing to pick holes in his performance. I don't get it. I don't get it. Crystal Palace didn't score.
There's no players in that Arsenal squad at this moment in time you can actually turn around and pick anything about. So if anybody's trying to pick anything about anyone, then you just, I don't know, you just got up on the wrong side of bed in the morning, or you're just that way inclined, because there's not an Arsenal player in that team who deserves any, even with our defeat against Manchester United. We should not have lost that game. Everybody after that game has said we should not have lost that game. We did not deserve to come away. So even then, but Ben White, excellent today. It obviously helps to have someone of quality like William Saliba next to him. But that you can say that about every player in the Premier League who plays for a top side. But I thought he was excellent today. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, Ben White gets a 7. Stephen says, I have no idea why Ben White gets the grief he does. I like and rate the lad. Yeah, definitely. Johnny says, for an away fixture at a difficult place to go, I was impressed with how we dictated the play and the pace of the game. It was a performance that you could have thought we was at home. We dominated. We absolutely dominated. I've not seen Brentford this season play like that. Brentford today looked like Brentford when they were like about halfway through the season, like last season, when it felt like is this a team that could potentially be in trouble with second season syndrome? That's what it felt like today against Brentford, and I'm putting that fully down to Arsenal. Brentford have started the season really well. Arsenal came in away from home, fully motivated, with a few players missing, and were excellent. That was it. Martin Odegaard was the other player missing. And we'll speak about his replacement today. Thomas Partey back in for the first time in I think about 4 games. Shored up that midfield a bit.
We missed him, didn't we?
Yeah.
You could really notice. You notice the difference. I mean, Thomas Partey is a quality footballer, and I'm hearing again. And I'm sorry I don't want to rant today, because today's it's been a great performance and everything, but I see someone today that Partey's turning into a Xhaka of like 2 years ago and last season. Firstly, Xhaka was not. There was nothing wrong with Xhaka for the last 5 years in my mind, but people got to realise that Partey's there to do a job. He breaks up the play excellently. Yeah, he wins the ball. He wins the ball excellently. He's never caught out of position. He plays it off to the right people when he should do. We don't want Thomas Partey playing 40-yard balls every 2 minutes. We don't want him, getting into the box and scoring goal. We don't want him shooting from out the box, from what I'm seeing from a very small selection of Arsenal fans. I'm fed up with this, hearing this. Party is massively important, to the degree that I said in the Manchester United thing. If he was playing against Manchester United, they don't win that game.
Yeah.
They do not win that game if Thomas Partey is in that central midfield, because he never misses nothing. Today, Brentford, one of the best teams in the Premier League, on that pitch in the last, not just since they come to the Premierships, since in the last five seasons anywhere, Championships, League One, whatever. Arsenal have gone there today. Thomas Partey has just had that midfield in their pocket. They could not get through him. It was just like the Thames barrier today.
He gives Granit Xhaka the freedom to have that going forward, and they've got that partnership where he's just he knows where he's going to be. He knows the positions to play off of Xhaka, and it's the best partnership we've had in that central midfield for years. And they're working brilliant together.
Yeah, it's a very high. No, I'm going to give him an 8. I'm giving him an 8. I'm fed up with these, people who, Thomas Partey is a specialist footballer. Yeah, there's not many people. You have to have the right frame of mind. You have to be, clicked on.
Yeah, I'm going to finish off what Steve was saying. He's saying,
I seem to think it's an easy thing to do. It's not. And giving full credit. Hey.
No, don't worry, Steve. You cut off, and I was just about to fill in the gap. But just as I was about to fill in the gap, you came back, so it's all right. It's all right.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
All right.
What's he saying? So from before, Johnny says Ben White were great player, solid defensively, and offers great passing going forward. He said Xhaka was my player of the match today. He was instrumental in much of the play. So Steve's giving Thomas Partey an 8. Granit Xhaka, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's too high, an 8. Maybe, but I'm just giving it because people have got to realise how hard that is. Positions to play ain't easy. But yeah.
No, definitely. But Thomas Partey, as you've seen, even in the games we've won this season where he's not played, it's Lokonga's done well and covered him well, but it's just not been the same. It's not been the same. Partey, he's more assured in that defensive role, and he's got that option to play those balls through the lines as well. I don't know what people are talking about. There's always going to be someone out there that wants more. Like you offer them a Coke, they want a Coke with a scoop of ice cream. You offer them a packet of crisps, they want the large pack. You give an inch, you take a mile. There's always someone that expects more of someone, and most of the time, it's just so they can it makes them look like I expect higher expectations. It's absolute nonsense. He was very good today. He's probably he's one of them positions where you got to play where you don't get the plaudits.
Yeah,
everyone else is getting the plaudits because you're sitting out there and cleaning up the muck and passing it off and keeping it simple. So great performance. Granit Xhaka, arguably man the next day.
Yeah, I mean, he's just getting better and better every game, isn't he? He's just. I've always rated him. I've always liked him. I've always known he can do. I've always known he's. We keep hearing from, past managers how he's first on the team sheet, and a lot of fans wondering why. I've never ever not known why, because I've seen it. But one thing I have to say, Kieran, I never thought he would be this good. Not even me. Because he's doing things out there on that football pitch now that I'm seeing Martin Odegaard do, and Fabio Vieira do, and things that Grealish and Kevin De Bruyne are doing, Christian Eriksen are doing. I'm seeing Granit Xhaka do them, and also do the hard work, the graft, and being, let's face it, the captain. Mm-hmm. He's the captain. He's the leader. Whether he's got the armband or not, he is the leader of Arsenal Football Club on that pitch. Obviously with Zinchenko and Jesus and others, but I feel he's the main. He was excellent today. He never does puts a foot wrong. Yeah, he gets a dodgy booking every now and then. He got one today, but
yeah, but I thought that was booking that needs to be like. I think there's a foul that needs to be done. That Brentford were on the breakdown. Yeah. I called it. I was in a group chat. I said, no, I don't mind that one. I don't mind that one as long as he don't get a red card. Him and what I'm hoping and what I'm seeing, touch wood, is him and Gabriel, because they're very similar in that mindset where it's all guns blazing. It's I don't care what I've got right now. I'm clattering this person. We love that, but they've got to be smart with it because it will impact on the team. And I'm hoping, as I've seen so far this season, I think they've had yellow cards and some early doors, and they haven't got that second yellow. They've been smart with it. So I think it was a challenge that needed to be made, and it was a yellow card. So
it was.
I'm not moaning about that. I'm not moaning about that.
But again, just on another part, I mean, the cross for Jesus' goal was absolutely majestic. Again, something that we've started to see from Granit Xhaka this season that I didn't think he had in his locker. I've always thought he was capable of playing the ball through the channels and for players to run onto. Always thought he had that. But these crosses and these pinpoint balls that he's just picking out people on his head, especially the one today was fantastic. The 1-2 touch, quick passes that I never thought he was capable of doing that. He can do that. What further up the pitch, and I think you're right, Kieran. I think you're right. Thomas Partey coming in is allowing him to show everybody what he can do, in other areas of the pitch. Excellent today. Arguably the man of the match. He is actually my man of the match. We would just nick it. But he certainly gets an 8 for me today, easily.
All right, 8 for Granit Xhaka. Our new man standing in the place of Martin Odegaard. I call him Mo. It's Fabio Vieira. And what a goal that was from Vieira. Standing still. And to be fair to him as well, he grew into the game a little bit more once he scored that goal, unsurprisingly as well.
Yeah. Vieira, he comes from Portugal. That just says it, didn't it? Yeah. Senegal and Portugal. It sounds like he's just been made to be signed for Arsenal and be another, fans' favourite. If he gets anywhere as close as being a legend as probably Patrick is, then we won't. The 32 or 37 million will be very well spent. But he was excellent today. The biggest sort of accolade, praise that I can probably give him today is that we didn't miss Martin Odegaard.
Yeah.
and we all know how we laud Martin Odegaard on this show. We love Martin Odegaard. We give him 9s every week, but we didn't miss him today. And why didn't we miss him? We didn't miss him because of Fabio Vieira was in the side. And you're right, he did grow into the game as it went along. He started off a little bit slowly. I didn't like the commentator when he said the geezers knocked him into the hoardings, and Vieira had a little moan, and the guy said, well, the boy's got to get used to that. Well, we all, I don't think he's watched Fabio Vieira then over in Portugal then. And, we had Aaron on the show and we said, we know he can certainly take a push and a kick. So maybe this commentator should have done his research wrong more. Yeah. Because he certainly grew into the game and he certainly shut him up when he put in that ball in the back of that net. I mean, I was up off my chair, just punching the air. But another a fantastic performance. As I said, what more can you say? We didn't miss Odegaard, and it's very similar to the Zinchenko and the Tierney situation. That ideally, what we all want as Arsenal fans is to be able to say, there's a give Arteta an headache. Give him an headache with Martin Odegaard and Vieira. I mean, we shouldn't have fans' favourites. It should be. We want people to be getting better and better. And this is how we will challenge for a title in the next years or years to come, by having this type of competition. So that's a major, major plus. He was excellent today. Quick passes, ping, very similar to Odegaard. But yeah, I mean, what a debut, what a goal. Great performance. I'll give him an 8.
All right. 8 for Fabio Vieira from Steve. Where is he? Gabriel Jesus. Oh, sorry, no, it's Bukayo Saka. Sorry.
Yeah, but Bukayo Saka, I thought he was excellent today. It's getting better as the season goes on. I thought he was much more involved today. He got his assists, as you said, not sort of like I suppose like great assists, but he deserves those 2 assists on his going down on the in the history books. I thought he was more dangerous today. Shooting still a little bit off at times, but towards the end of the second half, he made Raya produce a really good save. I thought that
Very
was
good
going
save.
in the yeah. I mean that was going in the corner. I maybe have liked to have seen Marquinhos come on to give him a little, bit of a.
He did, but it was for about 5 minutes with on Quayu.
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna get
bit
that.
earlier.
I'll get it by Tuesday. We get Jerome to do a little player profile on him because we didn't see much of him today.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean Saka, he hasn't started the season off wonderful, or what I really should say, he hasn't started off the season as the Bukayo Saka we've known. But we've sort of said he needs rest, he needs a break. But last week, and he was better. In this week, he's getting even better, and hopefully by the time we next play, he'll be even better than that. But it looks to me today that we was seeing a little bit of the old Bukayo Saka back, and I thought we did well. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I thought he was. I'd like to know. I'd be interested to know how much that rest played a part in it. He didn't play against Zurich. Obviously, Marquinhos came in that game. He also had a week's rest because of we didn't play last week as well. So maybe that little bit of a rest has given him a bit more in the tank for today. Because I thought he was relentless. He was just kept on going at him, which is the Bukayo Saka of old. He just needs to start getting goals. When he does start getting goals and adds to these assists, his stats are going to blow up, and he definitely deserves that. But yeah, no, I agree. It was definitely more of the old Bukayo Saka today, and definitely want to see more of that. 7 for Bukayo. Gabriel Martinelli.
Yeah, I thought it was a different type of game from Martinelli today. I still thought he played very, very well. I was watching him at points and during the game, trying to get like a more of a close look at his performance at moments during the game today. And he wasn't, and he works hard. He worked really hard today. He never stopped running. He did lose the ball a couple of times, but he always seems to run back, run and win the ball back and then come away with it again. Just a really good workman, like always capable of causing a problem. Wasn't sort of didn't really cause the goalkeeper any problems today or play the ball through the channels like he normally does. But I still think he worked really hard, and something that's it's pretty standard from Martinelli anyway. So I'm going to give him a 7.
All right, yeah. I feel like Martinelli is. I feel like I'm watching Martinelli's development as he goes on. Like I feel like now he's got so much more confidence in his own ability. He's trying to take the game more on himself. He's trying to be a bit more greedier. I think once he finds the balance between that and making the right decisions, it will just propel him into his next stage. And as we've seen with his mentality, he's a player who is going to give 100% in training and 100% in the match every time he plays, and he's only going to get better. I think in a couple of years' time, this kid's going to be unstoppable.
That was.
It just feels.
Yeah. No, I was going to say what you said there. I think was perfect analysis of his game today. He's just needs to sort of slow down at times and to know when to do things at the right time. I think you put it perfectly there. As I say, it was workmanlike performance today from Martinelli, just without the goal threat, if you like.
Yeah. It does feel like on his day he could just dribble around the whole team and put it in the back of the net. There was that one time when the ball went back, and I said out loud, I said, "This is going to be one of them goals where it's like 35 passes, and the ball went all the way back in defence, all the way back round, all the way back up, and then it got to Gabriel Jesus." The man I'm just about to bring in now, and he nearly scored 1-on-1. I was like, oh my God, we would be talking about goal of the season there. It was unreal. Unreal. Gabriel Jesus today.
I mean, if he was trying to prove a point to the Brazilian manager after being left out, which I can't. I mean, there was a point, just before I talk about Jesus' performances, he read out the players that had got in the Brazil squad and the ones that had been left out. And very strange. Very strange when I think that very strange.
A few odd decisions. No Ben White in the England team. I know he's been playing at right back, but what he can do at centre back. It just gives another. But not that England need another right back or another defender. I think they've got four midfielders in their team. Which I mean,
Richarlison instead of Jesus. I don't know.
I mean, Richarlison's had a good start to the season, but he's not Gabriel Jesus, and Richarlison ain't the number 9 to lead the line for Barcelona. I don't.
Firmino instead of Jesus.
Nah, not a chance.
I mean, Anthony. I mean, all right. Is he really that better than Martinelli or Jesus? Not for me. Not for me.
Who have Brazil got?
I mean, they're giving our players a rest.
Maybe Brazil are playing a couple of teams where there's going to be no players putting any pressure on the winger in Anthony, and he can do this circus tricks that he was doing against Arsenal. Maybe he can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know who they're playing.
I think it's Tunisia. One of them is Tunisia. I think it's one of them. And I don't know. Yeah, I think one's. I'm not too sure who the other one is, but I think one's Tunisia. Maybe they're giving the first team a rest.
Yeah, clearly. It's Tunisia and Ghana.
That's it. Tunisia and Ghana. Well, which says it all, really, doesn't it? Yeah. Don't
worry. It's friendlies. They're friendlies. Don't worry. They're saving Jesus for the real deal in November.
Yeah. I mean, Gabriel Jesus. Again, it was like, as I say, if he wanted to prove a point to the Brazilian manager today, if that was a reason why he was left out, then he certainly did, because taken away from his goal, he's worked, he's worked, up around the box, and even in the midfield, and in defence, he just doesn't stop running the guy. I mean, and the header. I mean, how did someone like that small get that much power in a header? I mean, it's like when he jumped up for that, even me, I thought he's not going to get enough power behind that to get that past the goalkeeper from that distance, because that header was quite far out. But he just like pushed his neck muscles back and bang, and it was like the goalkeeper didn't even see it. But an absolutely fantastic goal, and it's great to have a striker like Gabriel Jesus who can do the lot. We've got someone there who can do everything, and he was excellent today. I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, Gabriel Jesus 8. Well, Gabriel Magalhaes is out here with this, loving it, absolutely loving it. Nice kickabout with the boys. Love Arsenal. Gotta love that. Bit of payback for Ivan Toney. Gabriel Jesus with an 8 today. I think who came on first? Tomiyasu came on. Tomiyasu.
Yeah, they did okay. All the subs did pretty much the same. So I give Tomiyasu a 5. Standard 5 from what we do when we give subs.
Lokonga.
Yeah, same. Yeah, same 5. Wasn't on for very long. So
yeah, they weren't. I think most of the subs weren't on for too long. And Marquinhos as well, and Inque were on for like minutes. I think they came on near the 90th.
He had a couple of good touches though. Funny enough, for he did get up. So I was pleased with that. At least got a couple of touches. So yeah.
It's just a good experience. And he learned a lot from that, not just from coming onto the pitch, but the whole preparation, being around the squad, being around the dressing room. These are all big things, and And yeah, if Mikel Arteta's putting a 15-year-old in the squad today, it's definitely not for any sort of novelty factor there. It's because he believes the kid has got something in his bones that he could be an Arsenal player for the future. Anyone that hasn't seen, there is a new series out at the moment, Inside Hale End. Go and give it a watch. It's very, very good. If you watched All or Nothing, you enjoyed that. This is definitely a series you want to get a hold of. It's about the Arsenal Hale End youngsters. So it gives you an opportunity to see them before they get into the first team. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for this one. Eddie Nketiah.
Yeah, again, pretty similar. Does his usual running about, works hard up front, buzzed about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'll give him a 5.
Yeah. And Mikel Arteta today.
You've gone to Brentford, very hard place to go to. A little bit depleted in the squad, if you like. You've gone and won 3-0. You've got a clean sheet. We've already spoke about what Brentford's home record like. There wasn't a fault of one player who was any fault. Still had time to bring on the youngsters at the end, and as you say, brought in a 15-year-old to break the Premiership record for the youngest ever player. Where is there a fault there? You can't. There's no faults at all. He's got to get a 10 for me. There's no fault in what he did today. There was nothing at all. 3-0 away win, clean sheet, smashed it.
All right. So a very good victory for Arsenal today, which takes them into the international break, top of the Premier League, 1 point ahead of Manchester City. Only dropped points to Manchester United this season. We should have got more out of that game. But it is still tight at the top. We will not be taking this for granted. Once the international break is over, we have got Tottenham, that first game, 1st of October, followed by Bodo Glimt in the Europa League. Then we've got Liverpool, then Bodo again, then Leeds and Man City. No, Man City game was postponed. Then PSV after that. So it's going to be a very tough month of October, with only really Southampton and Leeds games to really sort of give us a respite off the back of the tough games. So we need to be making sure that we're taking as many points as we can out of those. Thank you very much for joining us today, Steve.
Cheers, mate. Pleasure.
All right. Make sure you catch us on Tuesday for the Arsenal show, where you have an hour long of us. Get it ready. If you are new to the show, press that subscribe button and press that like. If you are a regular, press that like button and press the share button. Press the copy button. You don't have to share it if you don't want to, but the copy button makes a difference for us. It thinks that you're sharing it, so that will do. Yeah, Arsenal, as I say, great performance from Arsenal. Great win. I will be watching it again so I can fully enjoy it without worrying, although there was no worry. 17 minutes early door from Saliba. But yeah, great win today for Arsenal. May it continue for the rest of the season. I'm feeling some good things from Arsenal. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.